After strong outrage, Lucknow University issues a new advisory for the 14th of February, declaring a holiday for Mahashivratri but makes no mention of Valentine's Day celebrations. Initial check shows over 1.25 lakh hectares of crops damaged by unseasonal rains and hailstorm. Maharashtra government goes into a handle to plan relief for farmers, assures compensation for the losses. Mir now reaches out to distressed farmers across Maharashtra and discovers how our debt-ridden farmers are making ends meet after the crippling loss suffered on account of unseasonal storm. 3 babies dead after faulty vaccine was administered during a government immunization camp in Mandya. District Health Officer shifts blame to the Union Health Ministry. Luck and not merit is needed for a teaching job in Punjab. Minister finds a new way of making crucial decisions, flips a coin to decide who gets appointed. Should Captain Amrinder toss this minister out? Taking a cue from Gujarat, Maharashtra government bans hookah parlours starting the 1st of April. 5 people killed in blast in Cochin shipyard, mishap after a water tank of ship exploded. And Neta Kamal Hassan offers a sneak peek into his political plans while addressing Tamilians in US. Says education and health will be his big focus. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching The Big Story with me, Avni Raja. Our big story for today, Valentine villains. Ahead of Valentine's Day, the fringe seems to have woken up once again and are issuing warnings and threats across India. In Lucknow, the university threatened to take strict action against students celebrating Valentine's Day. In Bengaluru, there were actually circulars distributed condemning celebrations. In Hyderabad, the self-appointed moral brigade warned pubs and restaurants against any kind of Valentine's Day celebrations. In Coimbatore as well, members of Shakti Sena staged a demonstration in front of the Coimbatore Taluk office, raising slogans against Valentine's Day celebration. Should these self-proclaimed champions of Indian culture dictate which festival we should celebrate and which we should not? That is what we are discussing today. Our phone lines are open. Call us on the numbers that are flashing on your screens and join in the discussion. Let's actually take a look first at the story in Bengaluru, where fringe outfits distributed circulars against Valentine's Day. In fact, seminars and talks were organized in colleges to reportedly educate the youth. These groups termed these celebrations as a design to convert youngsters to Christianity.
भारत में वैलेंटाइन डे के निमित्त बहुत प्रमाण में कंडोम का वितरण होता है और बहुत सारा में लैंगिक दौर्जन्य का प्रकरण घटित होता है। इसके अनुसार एक विदेशी माफिया है, ड्रग माफिया है, इस दिन को उपयोग करके उनका बिजनेस करने का एक षड्यंत्र है। इसके लिए रोकने के लिए इसके ऊपर बैन लगाना चाहिए।
Atrocious. I do not think that this is a democracy which they can dictate which day is Valentine's Day and what people should do and should not do on Valentine's Day. I absolutely agree for the special police to be there so that such fringe elements are controlled. They cannot let them to go around and they cannot dictate terms to us. They might, all kinds of wrong, false statements that this is not part of Indian culture, that this is not part of Hindu culture, I think is just misleading public.
I think it's a free country and people should be allowed to do whatever they want, and Valentine's Day is a day where people express themselves and, you know, be who they are. And I don't think just because some people are rioting against this, people should stop really expressing themselves on this day.
All right, let's go across to Shrija, who's joining us now to help us understand what's really happening as far as Bengaluru is concerned. Shrija, we understand that there were actually seminars and talks held by these fringe groups trying to put across their point against Valentine's Day.
Well, this is a very clear example to talk about how the law and order situation has completely failed, because considering that the activists themselves who claim that they are Hindutva followers in the name of Hinduism, that Valentine's Day should not be celebrated or observed is something what they are claiming. And we also see that they are having free run, because otherwise why would we see activists of any fringe group, be it the Kranti Sena or even the Ram Sena? We are also seeing Karnataka Rakshana Vedike. There are several other groups who are coming in the name of especially the Valentine's Day, telling people, youth, not to in fact wander about in public, otherwise they will ask them to get married, forcefully get them married, or also they will inform the parents. They will also be conducting seminars and also discourage students not to talk or even hold hands. Now this is something looks like it's gone to another level, because Karnataka clearly has a history of, as far as moral policing is concerned, especially by these so-called Hindu hooligans. What we are seeing is that, if you clearly remember, in the year 2009 we saw that infamous Mangalore incident, and soon after that we haven't seen these such kind of fringe groups in fact deteriorate, but we have only seen them increasing over the last couple of years. So what really has the government done? Looks like the government themselves are succumbing to especially the demands of these activists, considering they need votes.
All right, Shrija, stay with us. Let's also quickly take a look at what's happened in Lucknow. Now, the Lucknow University had threatened strict disciplinary action against students celebrating Valentine's Day, but after strong criticism, the university then issued a fresh circular clarifying that about Mahashivratri celebrations, but without any mention of Valentine's Day celebrations. And remember, there's still no clarity about whether any kind of disciplinary action will be taken if students actually found to be on campus on the 14th of February. That's tomorrow. All right, let's go across to Brinda Adige, who's joining me on the phone line. Brinda, it's across the country, whether you talk about Lucknow, what's happened with the university, you talk about Bengaluru, if you just heard our reporter telling us what's happening there in Coimbatore, in Hyderabad. It's quite ridiculous, to say the least.
You're absolutely right. I think all of these fringe groups have taken absurdity to another level altogether, in fact another depth, and this is because ruling governments, opposition parties are giving their tacit support to these groups. Otherwise, they could not have flourished like this. And I, take offense to them being called activists. Activists for what? To actually not allow the country and the citizen to have their freedom to decide where they want to go, who they want to talk to, whether they will hold hands and walk, or they'll walk together, or sit in a park, or sit on a bench. How dare? Who are these people? Who gave them authority? What is their local standing? So what is the police and the government doing? Why are these mechanisms silent? Why are the politicians silent? I'm sure the French groups have all kinds of support from people, and this tacit support is unacceptable. It is our constitutional right of freedom, as long as we are not harming anybody else, that we can do what we want to do.
Absolutely, Brinda. And we're talking about fringe groups as far as Bengaluru and some of the other places are concerned. But if you look at what happened in Lucknow, it's the university, it's Lucknow University, and you have the Vice Chancellor who's coming out in the open and defending this decision, which of course the diktat was retracted, but obviously that seems to be some sort of a sham of a retraction as well.
How can a university issue that kind of a diktat? Who are these universities? They are supposed to be temples of learning, and learning also means education, which means you widen your horizon, you learn and look at everything around you. You have a critical appreciation of everything. How dare you decide that as a university VC, you are now going to tell students that you will not do this and you will not do that, and disciplinary action will be taken against you? That university is surviving because of the fees paid by the students. Their salaries are all the fees that are being paid, and whatever subsidies they get is again the tax that we have paid. So they have to just do their job. They do not have to be our moral or conscience keepers, and that is not what they are being paid for. I think the education minister of UP Lucknow has to take very serious note of it and issue another letter from the department, from the government, to say that you will not curtail the fundamental right of the students who are citizens of this country, and that is their constitutional right.
But that's exactly the point, isn't it, Brinda? The fact that nobody is coming out in the open and saying that what these people are doing is wrong, what fringe groups are doing is wrong, the states are silent. that emboldens them further. In fact, in Bengaluru, they are going out and giving seminars against Valentine's Day.
I do not understand what this government was doing when Valentine's Day was commercialized 10 years ago, 12 years ago. That time they wanted the commerce and they wanted the income. Today they do not want to say anything to these fringe groups who are aggressive, who are violent, and who have decided to take law into their own hands, that they are not issuing. The CM should issue a notice and tell that the police need to take strict action against these kind of fringe groups that are going around threatening and warning the citizens, because the politicians are looking forward for their upcoming votes, and
Right.
that is why they do not want to talk about it.
Right.
I think citizens know better.
Absolutely. Brinda, if you can just stay with us, I want to take that question itself across to our reporter Shrija, who's still with us. Shrija, has there been any talk of any kind of action being taken against these fringe groups who are trying to indulge in this sort of behavior?
Well, absolutely not at all, because all that we're seeing at this point in time, that the fringe groups have been given the free run to go ahead and issue circulars, memos to especially the colleges, institutions. Of course, there are activists even questioning as to who really gives them the rights to, in fact, barge into an educational institution, ask the students how to behave and what they should be doing on Valentine's Day. And of course, they are also talking about where Valentine's Day is an evil adoption of westernized culture, and they do not want, especially students, or even for that matter Karnataka, anybody in Karnataka, to follow a tradition which is followed by Roman Catholics, is what they're clearly specifying. And we do not see any sort of notice being issued, especially to these kind of the fringe groups, where they're issuing diktats on their own, because what we're seeing at this point in time is they themselves are taking the law into their own hands. They go ahead, they create, in fact, commotion, they also create violence, and there we do not see at that point in time where the police officers are interfering. So clearly we see that they have taken Karnataka as a whole state into ransom as far as their own ideologies are concerned.
All right, Shrija, thanks for getting us all those details. Also joining me on the phone line is Pandit Gagan Shastri, who is a Hindu scholar. Pandit ji, thank you for joining us. आपके हिसाब से क्या ये सही हो रहा है कि इतने सारे लोग against Valentine's Day है?
देखिए, आई डोंट थिंक सो कि देर इज हार्म इन दिस, राइट? इट इज नॉट अबाउट अगेंस्ट वैलेंटाइन, इट्स अबाउट कि भाई अगर आप अपनी कंट्री के अंदर अगर अपने ही कल्चर को प्रोटेक्ट नहीं कर सकते तो व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ इट, राइट? सो नाउ इट इज वेरी सरप्राइजिंग फॉर मी, नाउ वी आर फाइटिंग फॉर दैट ऑन द डे ऑफ महाशिवरात्रि, वी आर जस्ट फाइटिंग फॉर द वैलेंटाइन डे. So this is nothing is shame for our country for more than this, that we are promoting other cultures more than our culture, and this is very surprising.
No, but Pandit Gagan, how are you saying that we are promoting other cultures? The point is, people who want to celebrate Mahashivratri are celebrating Mahashivratri. People who want to celebrate Valentine's Day will celebrate it tomorrow. What is the problem?
You know what? It is not about the problem. It is something like that. You know what? What is Valentine Day? Valentine Day week, if you will see that, there is starting from a rose day and end on a breakup day, right? So what kind of culture we are promoting? And if you will see from 10 to 15 years, the last 10 years was the one which is worse for the relationship issues, and the maximum divorce rate and other things are happening just because we are just going to a Western culture which is totally against that. There is nothing in the, you know what, there is nothing good to promote it, right? So this is a very surprising thing, and this is totally, you know, we are I don't know what exactly is happening in our country. So even in the everyone just promoting that why Valentine Day is something that the day for a love and everything, so it has nothing to do with it.
So no, the question is, Pandit Gagan, the fact is that the amount of time and energy that is being spent by so many people against to go out and go against Valentine's Day and to stop other people from celebrating it, if that even half that much time and energy was actually spent in areas where, you know, women's safety, for example, that issue is so deeply rooted in our country. There's so many problems.
This is the thing now. This is the thing. Like even if you will see the Lucknow University, that if you know that it is not possible to deploy the security in everywhere. So there's a rule that the student should not access for the university area, right? So this is for the security for the female thing. So there is no point even if you are stopping it. So that is also good for the females. So nothing is harming.
Pandit Gagan, stay with us. In fact, I'm being joined by Ruprekha Verma, who's a former Lucknow University Vice Chancellor and women's activist as well. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us. What is your take on this entire controversy?
I have not listened to the previous controversy on your channel, but I think that even if we go by the old ancient Indian culture, which we get mostly by our mythology, we have been a culture, we have been a nation who has celebrated love. And love of the kind where the two parties decide about their own relationship without the interference. We have taken Kamdev as our Devta. This is the nation where what many people would call obscene Kam Shastra was written. We are the culture where we celebrate in folklores a lot of sexuality is celebrated. So in such a country, taking love as something
negative,
objectionable or worth banning is a shame.
Right. So what is your view as far as what we saw in Lucknow University, the circular that came out that was, there was an attempt to retract it later as well, but saying that disciplinary action will be taken against students if they are found to be on campus or exchanging flowers or exchanging cards on the day, on Valentine's Day?
Well, that only shows the fundamentalist mind, which is increasing nowadays. We are going back towards the time where knowledge was rare, scientific facts were not with us, and democracy had not evolved. So this authoritarianism regime, whether at the political level or at the family level, that was the law of the day. We are regressing, we are going backwards to that time, which is a shame indeed. I think we should have faith in our youth. And if we have faith and they are made to understand that they are responsible for their own acts, they will be more responsible. They go erratic, they make wrong decisions because we don't give them liberty to think about their lives.
Right. Ma'am, if you can stay with us, I'm going to go back to Pandit Gagan, who's still with us. Pandit Gagan, you talked about Indian culture. You talked about the fact that there is westernization of the Western thought is entering the Indian culture, and that this is an attempt to prevent that. But does the fact that I celebrate Valentine's Day and I celebrate Diwali, does that make me have less of Indian culture in me?
It's not about less or more, right? It is about that, as per Acharya Chanakya, if you want to destroy any country or any community, you just destroy the culture of that country, then the country will automatically demolish. Right? It is said by Acharya Chanakya. So the point is that now students, like in our Hinduism, there are 4 ashrams: Brahmacharya, Grahastha ashram, Vanprastha and Sannyasa. And during the student age, right, it is while Brahmacharya age, that is for the study and for the career things, right? So if any student, they are more focusing on other things, so that is also not good for his career and for the betterment for his future.
But Pandit Gagan, the question is, what is good for somebody's career or not good for somebody's career? How is that of anybody else's concern? It is two consenting people, if they're two consenting adults, if they choose to celebrate a certain day in a particular way, if they choose to exchange gifts and cards and whatever else that they may want to do, why is that of anybody else's concern?
It's not about anybody else's concern, that it is about how we protect our culture. That plays very important role, and it's not like that if someone is doing something, right? So that is their personal concern. We understand that. We are not saying nothing. We are not against about it. That we are the country which is celebrating the love. Even the Lord Krishna and the Radha Krishna is the one of the most example. But that is the more pure and the purest form of love. That is the point. Right. It is not like that the same person is celebrating this Valentine with some other person, and next year we're celebrating with other person. And you will see in the most of the cases, the female are the most sufferer in this scenario. So that is the concern with, and being an elder or being an those people who are just educating how the generation should go on. So nothing is harm in that. Is a positive point. We have to take it on a positive side.
Panit Gagan, I'm just going to interrupt you for a moment. Let's in fact hear what some of our viewers have to say. Mahesh is calling us from Coimbatore. Hi Mahesh, thank you for calling in. Go ahead. What is your take on this whole thing?
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. With due respects to the scholar who spoke, he said that one time they celebrate with the other guy and next time another guy. This is all absolutely rubbish. Who are these people to decide whether we have to separate Valentine's Day or not? They have started for everything. They started with Batmavati film. Now they come for Valentine's Day. Tomorrow they'll say, no, from today onwards, nobody should say good morning. You say some other thing. A group of people holding the country to ransom, and our politicians are succumbing to that. It is high time that the government takes stringent action against the people who indulge in these kinds of activities. Absolutely atrocious, madam. Absolutely atrocious. This has to be stopped at any cost. Thank you.
Right. All right. Thank you, Mahesh, for sharing your thoughts. Pandit Gagan, I think what Mahesh just said is an echo of several people. The fact that this is something that is, when you people can have the right to their freedom, the right to their expression. People who are against something like Valentine's Day are free to share their opinion, to have their views. But it cannot be imposed on other people. There cannot be violence as a result of that. There cannot be threats of disciplinary action on students.
You know what? It is very simple to twist the things in a very on the basis of freedom of expression. Few days back, there was a show that the trolling on the basis of trolling. Then on that point of time, that the freedom of expression was restricted, right? But now this is the freedom of expression is coming, which is as per their convenience. So any person can use the words as per their convenience, and now the people are using in the same manner. And it's about the previous person was talking about that, how the person knows about that this year celebrating Valentine with one person and next year with other person. If you will go with the stats, you will find there's so many cases which is happening. So this is on record, and the things you will see commonly in our you can say that the commonly scenario in our society. So nothing is new in that. So I need not to verify that what is right and what is wrong. So it is totally up to the person.
Right. Tell me one thing, Pandit Gagan. Do you agree with certain things that we've been seeing? In some places there was, cards were burnt. Some places there are threats of violence. They're saying that we will take action if we find couples together on Valentine's Day. Do you personally agree with that kind of violence, those kind of threats?
I personally say I am not supporting any kind of violence. I am not supporting any kind of mishappening and destroying the public property in any way, because it is being and things we have to tell or educate the people. That is more better the approach rather than doing this thing. Else, if the people will not understand what exactly our main concern in this scenario, right? So that's why I'm saying I'm not promoting any kind of violence thing. So that should not be there. So, but yes, we should aware to other people as well. So why this is happening, and we should not promote it in this.
Do you think action should be taken if there are people who are found either attacking somebody or either indulging in a destruction of public property because as a sign of protest of Valentine's Day? Do you think action should be taken against them?
The law and order is strict, and the police authority and other authority is also there, so they will take care of all these things. So don't worry about it, and nothing will gonna happen wrong. This is something. This is a humble request for those people who are doing violence. So please do not promote it. Yes. There are so many ways to express their views. So I would suggest that go with that views, not in a violence thing. Fine.
All right. We'll leave it there. Thank you, Pandit Gagan, for joining us and sharing your views. Well, that's as far as what's happening across the country is concerned. Like we heard in Hyderabad, in Bengaluru, in Coimbatore as well, you've seen Hindu outfits protesting there against Valentine's Day. And those are the visuals there, in fact, on your screens. The question remains that, can anybody really tell us what we should celebrate, what we can celebrate, what we can't celebrate? Where does it end? Where do these kind of things end? And who will stop these people is the bigger question, because obviously the states are not doing anything to stop them, which is emboldening them further. And that really is the question that I leave you with today. Thank you so much for watching.